Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! That's right, I got 4 Ghostbusters Classics figures from the dollar store. Seriously, people, all of these were purchased for $4 at Dollarama. 2 of these I purchased at my local Dollarama. 2 I couldn't find because scalpers showed up and purchased all the rest of them and sold them online, so in turn I had to purchase Winston and Egon online from scalpers. However, in the first place, all of these figures were $4. That's unthinkable considering these are the original sculpts from the MattyCollector exclusive Ghostbusters Classics figures, then repackaged in these packages and sold in Toys R Us's and Targets and Walmarts across North America to coincide with the movie release. Some reason they didn't sell enough, I guess, or something, and a whole bunch of them, like truckloads full, ended up at Canadian Dollaramas across the country, and I have now what you see before you. It's wonderful. And now we're going to open these bad boys up and put together the Collect and Connect figure. This is going to be a lot of fun. Now for today we're going to start off with Peter because he is arguably the most important character in the series. He was at least the most popular character in the series, so we'll open up him first. Wow, the no symbol just fell right out. Interesting background. That's kind of cool. It'd be neat if these were all different and they all went together too, and you could have like one big backdrop diorama to display your figures in. Out you get, Peter. Come on. So first we got Peter, and I love the look that they've sculpted onto his face. He just looks so Venkman-ish. You're like he's about to say something just really smart-assy. And starting at his feet and working all the way down his jumpsuit, they got all that fine detailing. Looks just amazing. I really, really like these figures. And I remember being really disappointed that when they were just a MattyCollector exclusive, I wasn't going to be able to afford them because I blow my budget on DC stuff in general. And I just didn't have the money for these. And $4 at Dollarama, I'm just blown away. The attention to detail they've put into these figures is pretty darn cool. The articulation for this figure is going to be as follows, as with the rest of them. Peter's got head articulation, but it's at the neck, which is kind of a strange decision, but it makes sense because, I mean, how much articulation does a Ghostbuster figure need in comparison to, say, a DC or a Marvel Legends? And then they've got elbow articulation that's hidden below the elbow pad, which is, I mean, that's kind of neat. They have wrist articulation that is on a swivel hinge hidden under the glove. Again, I think that's a neat way to hide it. There's waist articulation. He can go this way and that at the waist. He has typical DC Universe Classic style groin articulation in that the legs can go out and they can spin. He's got single jointed knees and he has articulation as well at the ankle. And is it a oh, look at that. It's a rocker. So it can rock and it's on the hinge. That's kind of cool. I actually think that's kind of neat. And here's the no sign Build-A-Figure piece that you use to put together the Ghostbusters logo. I think it's kind of cool that this actually comes with Peter. One of the things that I wish they had done with this figure is actually gave us a Slimer pack in as well. Maybe they just didn't give us Slimer to keep the cost down, but it would have been really cool if Peter Venkman also came with a Slimer figure. Next up, we have Egon Spengler, who comes with the butt of the ghost. Kind of a strange thing. I didn't show you the back of the box before I showed you Peter, so let's quickly go over that too. Peter Venkman, Ray Stantz, Egon Spengler, and Winston Zeddemore. I think it's funny, the pictures that they chose to use on the back of the packaging, because that picture of Winston, is it just me or does he look a little bit drunk or googly-eyed? I also want to point out that the picture they chose for Ray Stantz is just the weirdest looking image of him I've ever seen. Pinched head Ray, just a bizarre, terrible head sculpt. This is one of the times I would say that whoever was in charge of sculpting that day showed up to work drunk or needed glasses, because this is horrible. And we also see the completed Build-A-Figure Ghost as well. And we can actually see the numbers correspond with who comes with what piece. Right, now, let's open it. Out you come. Goodbye, box. Hello, Egon. Egon's package comes complete with the stand for fitting the butt of your ghost onto, the arse end of the ghost itself, just like that. And then, of course, we have Egon himself, who is the exact same sculpt as Peter Venkman, except for his pants are tucked into his boots as opposed to hanging over the outside of his boots. But other than that, I think it's the exact same sculpt. Yep, it's the same, exactly the same. So from here on in, we're only going to go over the things that are different about each figure, because all the rest of the detailing is the same. In this case, like I said, the boots are a little bit different, but it has all the exact same articulation otherwise, except for, of course, the head is very different. And you can see that this is actually a pretty good likeness for Egon's face. I don't think they did a bad job at all. A little bit cartoonish from like an old 80s Chiclets commercial, but all in all, I think he looks pretty darn good. Pretty darn spot on. Next up to bat is Ray Stantz, old Pinchhead himself, and he comes with the torso of the ghost and the figure himself. And here's a close-up of that Build-A-Figure ghost piece. You can see right there, that's where it snaps into the other piece. Just like that. And getting up close and personal with Ray, we can see that Ray pretty much has the exact same sculpting. Wait a minute. It looks like he has an elf ear because they made a mistake with the painting. I'm gonna have to touch that up. Now this is actually the best Ray I could find. I looked at all the Rays, and some of them, you should see their heads. It looks like somebody, while it was still hot, went on his head at the factory. And this one actually is not as bad as some of them are. Still, this does not scream the likeness of Ray Stantz to me. Other than that though, exact same sculpt as Egon Spengler. Like, exactly the same. Alright, let's organize this a bit. We got the ghost here. Let's put Egon here, and Peter here, and Ray right there. And now, let's open up Winston. Winston's a character who I think is incredibly underrated. He was one of my favorite characters in the entire movie. That line, "I have seen shit that'll turn you white," is one of the best lines in the entire movie, and he delivered it perfectly. And I'm so glad that I actually have a Winston figure. Man, mustache and all. Gotta love that. Winston comes with the head of the ghost and, of course, the figure of Winston himself. Cutting along the dotted lines, opening up the box, and letting him out. Oh, that one comes with a piece of paper. Oh, hang on, it's the instructions for making the ghost glow in the dark. Place the ghost or figure approximately 5 feet, 152 centimeters away from a light source for 30 seconds. Blah, blah. I think everyone knows how that kind of thing works out. Don't you come, Winston? You're the last one of the party, buddy. Couldn't wait for you to get here. Now here's the head that fits onto the Build-A-Figure glow-in-the-dark ghost. And he just fits together like, oh my god, what the... like this, with the final piece to put in place is the no symbol. It's like trying to put him in a life raft. Don't you want to, hey, get the... Alright, so I had to take the head clean off so that you could get the Build-A-Figure piece on there. And then you gotta kind of slide his arm in here, and then there's a little hole, and you gotta mash it. You gotta just shove it right in the thing. You just gotta push, just like that. And then it's just a matter of reattaching Ghosty's head up here. Make sure you get the little thing in the hole, otherwise it won't connect properly. Get in there. That's your home. Don't you want to go home? There. Perfect. Ta-da! And here we see the Build-A-Figure ghost all lit up and glowing. This actually looks really cool. I'm going to put this on my bedside table so I can look at this ghost before I go to sleep and scare the crap out of my wife. Woo! Now, knowing that all the articulation is going to be the same for Winston here as it has been for the rest of the figures, and the sculpt is exactly the same, boots and all, as Egon and Ray Stantz, I'm not going to bother showing you that because they're all exactly the same. However, I do want to point out the face here. I love it. I'm just as impressed with this face as I was with Egon's and Peter's. I think that they've done an excellent job. I wish that we had these when we were kids, because we would have been all over these as kids. But I guess maybe the sculpting of these is more expensive to do. But I really think that this captures the look of Winston quite nicely. And here we have it, folks. The at one time MattyCollector exclusive Ghostbusters figures transferred into becoming re-releases in Walmart and then released for $4 a pop at Canadian Dollaramas across the country. Ghostbusters figures. Amazing. This is probably the best Dollarama find I've ever seen. These are incredible. If you guys can happen to find any in your local Dollarama, I'm going to guess you're probably not going to find any because These sold out pretty much everywhere across Canada. If you were a Ghostbusters fan, an action figure fan, you knew about these and people went and bought these really quickly. People like me who are collectors and also scalpers hoping to take advantage of the collectors also picked all these up. But if you can happen to find these in your local Dollarama, maybe you live in a small town where there's not a lot of people who collect this kind of stuff, seriously, pick up a set of these if you can find them. The Egon and the Winston are going to be much, much harder to find because just like they were out in the wild in Toys R Us and in Walmart, they're short packed in comparison to Ray and Peter. But if you could find a whole set, because they're out there, pick them up. They're worth every penny and they're going to fill you with the nostalgia of your 1980s childhood. Thanks, Mattel. And with that, we've come to the end of our Mattel Ghostbusters Classics all 4-figure with the Build-A-Figure action figure review. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. It means a lot to me. Please, if you like this video, don't be afraid to slap a like on it. Leave any comments you have down in the comment section below. Let me know if you found these in your local Dollarama or if the scalpers got there and bought them all up before you could even find one Ray or one Peter. And don't forget to subscribe if you think you might like to see more of the kind of content that I put out on this channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.